All right. So, Dusty, you got anything to say?
I do, and I hope everybody can hear me now because due to popular demand, we got mics.
Yep, they sound really good. We did a test run earlier, and I don't even think we have to yell anymore. It sounds really
nice.
good.
I don't sound like I'm in a shower stall a mile and a half away. We went to PRI. I did.
Yeah.
Chris was invited. He didn't make it. He had some other obligations, but we talked to a bunch of our vendors and suppliers, Pro Charger, and then Brian Tooley Racing. We got to talk to Brian a little bit. He's like, man, thanks for the videos. They're awesome. You guys need mics. So we're like, we know. So we got mics.
And the camera should be clear today as well. So we're really upping our game here going into 2024.
So to the meat of this, another Pro Charged SS. Right?
Wow.
I know, right? And this one's kind of in the family because if you watch the video with the 900 horsepower car we finished that we took to the racetrack, Chris street tuned it, Chris track tuned it.
Went rounds.
We finished second in the overdrive class. But this is his buddy, Thomas.
Yep.
And this is our setup. Like, this is our recipe, man. It's 7/8 lower with our BHP blower ring spacer with the ATI damper. It's got a 4.5-inch upper. It's good for about 12 PSI.
At about 6,900.
69-ish, right? So, and it's a nice cool day. So we're making all the boosts.
This one is BTR 3 automatic.
The old school, the V1.3.
Yeah.
Like, they don't make that, right?
Yeah, they kind of went straight from the bigger 4s. They kept those. And then they also kept the Red Hot or the old BTR 2 V2, which replaced the BTR old 2. Anyways, and this one has the old BTR 3 that they no longer make. It has a Circle D converter, has some headers and exhaust.
Yep.
That was already on there as well. You didn't do that, did you?
It was. No, this was literally, we got the BTR valve covers. If you guys haven't seen these are awesome. They relocate. We got the coil relocation. So it comes with the coil brackets. If you order them like that. Got the oil fill, we're plugged. We're using the Mighty Mouse catch can like we do, and we have it venting off of the rear of this driver's side valve cover, which gives us a little more options on where we can put the can. So awesome pieces, once again, by BTR. So this one's got the BTR cam, BTR valve covers, and our Pro Charger recipe, and it's making great power. Of course, DSX aux fuel system with the 320 pump.
And FIC
850s, which are big, they're tuned big.
They're tuned big. We're actually, thankfully, we're running out of pump before we run out of injector today.
Yep.
Not that we're unsafe. This one's really good. Yeah, I'm glad we're getting systems and setups where we know where we want to be at. If you're at 700, 750, this setup is good. Anything over what we're doing here,
you got to spend exponential money on fuel system. And
correct.
That's just how it is.
And that's why we told Thomas, this guy from the beginning, what are your real goals? And he said, I'll be happy with 600 or so. So we knew we could get him into this setup. If you're really going to be happy with 750, don't waste the extra money on your big system. Do this.
Yeah.
If you think you might want 800, 900 later, go ahead and spend the money on a fuel system. I see the graphs over there, but one thing you forgot, we did an initial.
Yeah.
We haven't even done that yet. So yeah, you guys would be really, I guess you shouldn't be surprised at this point anymore, right? Yep. Yeah, that was it.
It's way down there in orange. You know how I feel about orange. You can't really see it good. But anyway, it made 438, 413, and this is a combo that's been together a little while. He's had, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
the power differences are literally picked up 300 horsepower and exactly 200 foot-pounds of torque, which is huge. And it really lost no power anywhere. If you could say that's a loss, the converter has a 3600 converter, you're never even going to feel that. And I don't even think it lost horsepower. I think it's just how I did the hit.
Well, that's torque.
Yeah, you're right. And never mind.
Way up there.
You can just disregard everything I said. Yeah, we gained horsepower, torque everywhere. I don't even know what I was thinking. So
no, it is confusing when the lines are so like overlapping and stuff. But to point out what these are, and we talk about this all the time, but of course the baseline.
Orange.
And then the red line is the 93 line. And if you'll notice, it's not like super smooth.
Reason it always is timing. And 93 is not a good fuel for boost. You can only run on this car since there's a lot of people ask that, we only have about 12, 13 degrees on this car on 93. More and it would actually spark knock, and you could see it in the exhaust, showing that is a legit spark knock concern. So we backed the timing down, actually made a little more power, and it's still not a perfect graft, but the timing is just all it would take. Like I said, it was about 13?
Yeah.
I think about 13 degrees.
And you can tell, we always talk about the graft, but you can tell it's timing deprived, but it wouldn't take any more. So you need better fuel. You need something different. So that better fuel was E85, and that's the blue line. The blue line is E85, apples to apples, just like that. And honestly, we never really cooled this car down and did a cold run. It's pretty cool here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool today. We had a couple people dropping off cars, some diagnostics for people. So we haven't really had the time to put our attention on this one to cool down. We, of course, spent time tuning it, make sure everything was right.
Yep.
And then the last run is no filter, which didn't make huge gains, but shows us an efficient combo. The other thing to note is it didn't lose any torque or horsepower, and it just gained a little up top to where the air filter started to become a restriction.
And at that level, at 730, the fuel pressure in the car was starting to fall off pretty significantly.
Yeah, at this point, at about 7,000 RPM, we're closing in on about 58, which is still what it calls for a factory. But when you hit the DSX on, it's over 80 pounds of fuel pressure. So it was good.
So like we say, 700 on the 85 all day long. This is your deal.
Yeah.
Maybe 750. Right?
700 and if we really cooled it down, took the filter off, added some timing, there's no doubt in my mind it could be a 750 car, but it doesn't matter because this is how you're going to drive it. So do it how you're going to drive it on the street. You're not going to cool it down to 70 degrees before you make a hit on the street.
Yeah.
The other thing to note is, look at the peak. Factory with the BTR3, it peaked at 6,000, and the blower brought that up to the high 6,000 range.
Yeah, when you back off.
Yeah, whenever you back off, because the blower is just ready to make power.
Yep.
And I think this cam peaking early, even though it's bigger than a BTR2, is probably part of the reason why they now swapped to the Red Hot and the BTR4.
Yeah, we know they're constantly doing R&D and coming up with new stuff, and they've got better load profiles now. They just, like everybody, like us, like everybody else, constantly improving, constantly learning. And even though it peaked early, you'll notice that it did hold the power.
Yeah,
which is really nice. It never really falls off. So, still not a bad combo, but you put this on top of it, man, it
just looks really bad.
Yeah, it's really
comparatively.
Awesome, yeah.
The other thing one more thing, I keep saying that, and want to talk about is this placement, because I even was like, hey, that's a little different. And then the way you did the catch can, you had to do a little bit of modifications to get the catch can to work, right?
Yeah, everything's kind of a puzzle. Nothing's a kit, like here's where it goes. But I wish that they would mount the blow-off valve 5 degrees toward the rear of the car. It would make a huge difference. It's tight here. I've done some of them where I'll flip this charge pipe upside down 180 degrees, and it'll actually put the blow-off valve under the blower a little bit, and that's still tight, but I've done it both ways.
And you did that. This is the first time we put a catch can over here in this area,
and
right?
that was due to the BTR valve covers being able to vent from this side with a -10 line. So that was kind of neat. I cut off a corner of the bracket because the hood strut, when it closes, needs to live right in here. So I had to clock it over.
Good.
Just something different. One thing about the valve covers, you'll notice it's tight right here with the filter, the Pro Charger, with the coils being up high and sitting upright, like proud like that. The other thing is I had to turn the coil mounts upside down, which didn't affect anything. The plug wires, everything, to clear the fuel line there.
Yeah.
So definitely doable. Like I said, we talked to Paul at PRI about it, and like we talked about, I said, man, like you can't make something that works with everything, but he wanted pictures. He wants to know. Those guys want to constantly keep developing.
So we'll send him the pictures and details so they can explain to people, hey, flip your coils on the back. If you have this fuel, what is it, just the actual fuel line going into the rail?
Yeah, the line you couldn't have put a line on there with the coils up that high. So
gotcha.
A little bit lower fixed the problem. Again, not a big
problem.
deal.
They look really good.
Yeah, these are awesome. Plus, you can take the valve covers off with the coils on. That's kind of nice. You can get to all 4 bolts. And we did the BP Automotive harness too, point that out. This is the harness that you can get from BTR that just orients the plugs where the coils are going to live now. It just cleans it up. It's nice.
Yeah, it's a good setup. Under here, he wanted us to do some, decorative things because he likes to go to the show. So, yeah, it looks a lot better. Got the nice valve covers, got the blower, of course, always nice to look at. The Mighty Mouse catch can looks just like a same, look as like the air filter, and it just all blends into nice and together when you do it.
Yeah,
clean.
super nice. This is the helical D1SC also, so it's a little bit quieter.
You'll hear that in the video, hopefully.
That's an option.
Yeah, it's quieter, and he did the black option.
Yep.
But other than that, it's our standard D1SC setup, and you did use your bottom setup, which I think we've pointed out several times. So we'll go ahead and do it one more time.
Yeah, why not, man?
It's a good setup.
This is a robust setup. It's just a little bit better than the way the ProCharger lower uses cam locks to kind of ride on the spokes of your factory balancer. We've run that too, hadn't had any problems with it. But when you really get ready to make some power, you're gonna need this. So.
I agree. So he got a couple pulls. We're gonna go just do a nice little easy street hit, make sure everything's good, and he'll be on his way.
Yep.
So appreciate it. Thanks guys for the feedback. We do take that into consideration, like the better camera and better microphones. So, we're trying to improve it so that we have, I know we're kind of a shop that just puts on YouTube, but we also want to, show we are putting the work into making our YouTube videos as good as we can.
And hopefully, I think that's kind of what helps us relate to people a little bit. We're just backyard, we're just regular people. We're not these big corporate places. We like to make speed and horsepower and like to make things go fast. So.
Yep, and we found some good setups to work, and that's why people always call us when they're looking for ProCharger advice, tuning, etc. So anyways, until next time, thanks guys.
See ya.